Imagine being told that one day a real estate businessman from New York, with no previous experience holding elected office, would become President of the United States. In 2015, many political analysts, journalists, and even members of his own political party believed that Donald Trump had little chance of winning the presidency. Yet just over a year later, he achieved one of the biggest political upsets in modern American history. How did a businessman become one of the most recognized political figures in the world? Was it luck? Was it strategy? Or was there something that millions of people saw that others completely missed? To understand the answer, we have to go back to the beginning. Because before Donald Trump lived in the White House, before the rallies, before the elections, and before the headlines that captured the world's attention, he was simply a young man growing up in New York, learning the business that would eventually make his name famous around the globe. This is the story of how Donald Trump went from New York businessman to President of the United States. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York City. He was the fourth of 5 children born to Fred Trump, a successful real estate developer, and Mary Ann McLeod Trump, who had immigrated to the United States from Scotland. Growing up, Donald Trump was surrounded by construction projects, apartment buildings, and business discussions. From an early age, he watched how his father built and managed real estate developments. At the age of 13, after concerns about his behavior and discipline, his parents enrolled him at the New York Military Academy. The structured environment emphasized leadership, discipline, and competition, qualities that would later become closely associated with his public image. After graduating, Trump attended Fordham University before transferring to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, where he studied economics. By the late 1960s, he had joined his father's real estate company. At the time, few people could have imagined that this young businessman would one day become one of the most discussed political figures in modern history. But first, he had to build his own reputation, and that meant thinking far beyond the neighborhoods where his family's business had started. By the early 1970s, Donald Trump had joined his father's real estate company with a much bigger ambition. While the family business had focused largely on residential properties in New York City's outer boroughs, Trump believed Manhattan offered opportunities to build a globally recognized brand. In 1971, he took greater control of the company and later renamed it the Trump Organization. His goal was not only to construct buildings, but also to make the Trump name itself a recognizable brand. One of his first major successes came with the redevelopment of the Commodore Hotel near Grand Central Terminal. After extensive renovations, it reopened as the Grand Hyatt, a project that helped establish Trump as a prominent New York developer. Throughout the 1980s, his name appeared on office towers, hotels, luxury apartments, casinos, and other high-profile developments. The Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue became one of his most recognizable projects and further increased his public profile. But success did not come without setbacks. In the early 1990s, a combination of heavy borrowing, a slowing real estate market, and financial pressure left several of Trump's businesses struggling. Some of his casino businesses later entered bankruptcy proceedings, and many analysts questioned whether his business career would recover. Yet Trump remained a well-known public figure. Through debt restructuring, new business ventures, licensing agreements, and continued real estate projects, he rebuilt much of his business presence over the following years. By the end of the decade, Donald Trump had become more than a businessman. His name had become a global brand associated with luxury real estate, hotels, golf courses, and high-profile media attention. But his biggest leap into popular culture was still ahead. It wouldn't happen through another skyscraper. It would happen on television. By the early 2000s, Donald Trump was already well known in business circles, but television introduced him to millions of people who had never followed the real estate industry. In 2004, NBC launched The Apprentice, a reality television competition where contestants competed for a position within Trump's organization. Week after week, Viewers watched teams complete business challenges while Trump evaluated their performance. The show's signature phrase, "You're fired," quickly became one of the most recognizable catchphrases on television. The Apprentice became a ratings success and expanded Trump's public image far beyond New York. Around the world, many people came to know him not as a property developer, but as a confident businessman making high-stakes decisions on national television. During these years, Trump also wrote books, gave speeches, licensed his name to properties and products, and continued to appear regularly in the media. Whether people admired him or criticized him, one thing was becoming increasingly clear. Donald Trump knew how to attract public attention. As his public profile continued to grow, so did speculation about whether he would one day enter politics. For years he commented on economic issues, trade, immigration, and government policies. Although he occasionally explored the idea of running for president, many people believed it was simply a way to generate publicity. Then, in 2015, everything changed. Standing inside Trump Tower in New York City, Donald Trump made an announcement that would surprise the political world and mark the beginning of one of the most closely watched presidential campaigns in modern history. On June 16, 2015, Donald Trump descended the golden escalator inside Trump Tower in New York City and officially announced that he was running for President of the United States. At the time, many political commentators viewed his campaign as a long shot. Unlike most recent presidential candidates, Trump had never held elected office or served in the military. He was entering a race against experienced politicians with established campaign organizations. His campaign focused on issues such as immigration, trade, border security, and the economy. His direct communication style and large public rallies quickly attracted widespread attention. Supporters praised him as someone willing to challenge the political establishment and speak differently from traditional politicians. Critics strongly disagreed with many of his statements and policies, making him one of the most debated candidates in modern American politics. As the campaign continued, media coverage intensified. Every speech, debate, and interview became headline news, both in the United States and around the world. Trump secured the Republican Party's presidential nomination and advanced to the general election against former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Throughout the campaign, opinion polls and political analysts often predicted a Clinton victory. However, Trump continued campaigning across key battleground states, arguing that he represented voters who felt ignored by the political establishment. Then came Election Day. On November 8, 2016, Americans cast their votes. As the results came in overnight, several closely watched states were won by Trump, surprising many observers. In the early hours of November 9th, Donald Trump was declared the winner of the Electoral College, becoming the 45th President of the United States. For millions of supporters, it was a historic victory. For many others, it was an unexpected political turning point. No matter where people stood politically, one fact was undeniable. Donald Trump had transformed from a New York businessman into the President of the United States, completing one of the most remarkable political journeys in modern American history. But winning the election was only the beginning. The greatest challenges of his political career were still ahead. On January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump took the oath of office and officially became the 45th President of the United States. From his first days in office, his administration moved quickly on several campaign promises. His presidency included changes to tax policy, immigration enforcement, federal regulations, judicial appointments, international trade, and border security. On the world stage, his administration pursued a different foreign policy approach from many previous presidents, drawing both strong support and strong criticism. In 2024, after another closely watched campaign, he won the presidential election and became only the second person in U.S. history to serve 2 non-consecutive presidential terms. Whether people support him or oppose him, few would disagree that Donald Trump's journey, from a New York businessman to one of the most recognizable political figures in the world, is one of the most remarkable stories in modern American politics. But if you think that was the most dramatic chapter of his life, think again. Because after his political comeback, one shocking event captured headlines across the world. and instantly became one of the most talked about moments of the 2024 campaign. How did it happen? What exactly took place? And how did it affect the election that followed? That is the next chapter of this story. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe and join us for the next episode.